It gives me great pleasure to welcome John Graham to the Airy. John is a revered figure in the history of West Torrens Football Club, known for his 203 games and his outstanding contributions both on and off the field. As a past player, John's legacy is not only defined by his aggressive style of play, but also by his deep connection to the club's rich heritage. His commitment to preserving the history and the values of the West Torrens Football Club has made him a vital link between the past and present generations. Over the years, John has witnessed the evolution of the Woodville West Torrens Football Club, particularly through the formation of the merger of the West Torrens and Woodville football clubs. John, welcome and thank you for agreeing to sit down with us today so that we can gain your understanding and thoughts on how the club is paying tribute to the past players of the West Torrens and Woodville football clubs.
Looking forward to a conversation with you, David.
How do you believe the Woodville West Torrens Football Club has engaged with and welcomed past players from West Torrens back to the club?
Well, firstly, I think that the beginning was something that we had to adjust as people, as past players and officials, because it was going to be a new venture. I've found the journey exciting. I love the involvement. I am most appreciative of the way that we've been accepted within the structure of the Woodville West Torrens Football Club. I love the idea of the embracement of yesteryear into the new club. To see history being reincarnated and built upon with the new structure, it's been exciting, and I'm just grateful to be part of it. The football club has given us something that we thought had been lost, and that is that there's an identity as you come into the club with the history of West Torrens from 1897 to 2000 or to 1990 basically. So for 93 years it could have been lost, but you've embraced it, and on the wall there's the history of every player that represented West Torrens from that 93-year period. Very happy. We think that also that the involvement that you've encouraged us to be part of in participation of game days and past players' days, etc., is something that we have so much appreciated.
At the start of the year, obviously, we played round one against West Adelaide. We made that our retro round. Now, when we say retro round, we mean that was our historical round. So we wore the West Torrens Guernsey, and then at half-time flipped it over to the Woodville Guernsey. What was your feeling when you saw that occur?
Well, first of all, I think that the West Torrens footy jumper from 55 to 1970 had been something that people loved to see. Kids wore it. It was the most exciting jumper in the SANFL, in my opinion, in those days. And to have it reincarnated and put on again in a league game made me very proud. And I think that to see people run out with this and people in awe, to think we're still here, which is important.
As a club, we quite often get questioned about, do we recognise the history of West Torrens and Woodville, and people sometimes say we don't do enough. Your thoughts on that?
I think we're always looking for something extra, or we all are in life. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, to be recognised is important, to be part of is also very important, and to know that there's a future is also important. And the Woodville West Torrens Football Club has given us a future that could have been lost quite easily by ownership.
Have you received any feedback from the West Torrens past players about the experiences and interactions they're currently having with the Woodville West Torrens Footy Club? And if so, what's the general sentiment?
Well, first of all, I talk regularly to Lindsay Head, who I have a great respect for, possibly the best player I've ever seen on the footy ground. But he, and like many of us of yesteryear, are so grateful to think that we are welcomed. We actually participate regularly with the gathering of Old Eagles. And if you're a West Torrens supporter, then you should be a Woodville West Torrens supporter. And you should follow the Eagles, because that's what we are today. We're called Eagles. The scoreboard says Eagles. And to think that we're still there and doing things as we head into this exciting period is important.
This year, for the first time, we invited at the start of the season, we do our season launch, and we invited yourselves and club legends and life governors and all that back, and you guys were the last ones to leave on that evening. How does that react within? What's that like within the group? You know, when they're starting to be invited back to these season launches and these club champion nights and things like that, and they're starting to be acknowledged. How does that go within the current past players group?
Well, we think it's important because the efforts over the years are not being lost now with people attending games. People come to past players' shows. People come to the gathering of Old Eagles. We participate with our luncheons here at the club. It's our club, as we call it. We're in a football atmosphere which has been accepted and encouraged by the club itself.
What challenges do you believe the club has faced in integrating the history of West Torrens and Woodville into the current one club, one culture? Do you think there's been any challenges that you've seen?
There's been lots, David. You can't walk away from 93 years at Thevenin Oval and find out that it's picked up very easily. There's always going to be an angst for people who feel that they're forgotten forever. But what the Woodville West Torrens Footy Club has done is actually brought us alive again by bringing us into the environment and encouraging us to participate in several avenues of game day, past players, been invited to, I just recently, last year I was invited to present a footy jumper to a first game player. I hadn't talked football for a long time. I found a moment to think that this is going to be an adventure for this young lad. He's going to have friends for the rest of his life, and they're going to be Eagle friends for the rest of their life. So I love it.
You work so hard with the West Torrens past player group. You now have lunches here every quarter where you're having over 220 people in attendance. It's a real credit to what you've been able to achieve and the committee that's been working with you to be able to get that together. But 93 years of history, you've had to make a lot of phone calls to get people engaged. What gives you the energy to keep doing that, John?
Well, David, I'm 80 years of age, and I want to make sure that when I leave, I've left a footprint. And I'm a West Torrens person, first up. I'm now a Woodville West Torrens person. I'm an Eagle. And I want to make sure that my history and our history is going to be respected and remembered forever. And it all started off because I got tired of going to funerals or hospitals and visiting my past teammates. And I thought, let's get them while they're alive. Now I've got people phoning me and saying, I'm a West Torrens supporter. Can I participate? You certainly can. Come along, because you'll see the heroes of yesteryear with the Jeff Kingstons and the Lindsay Heads and the Bowie and all those characters that we respected on the footy ground. They're alive and well with us.
Obviously, coming back to the club this year, you walk in January and you see the brand new facilities over there at the Barry Jarman Grandstand. What's your thoughts? I mean, you come from a yesteryear where there was the one pole with the 8 shower heads, and you guys, that was just football. That was what we expected. But now you've come in and you've been able to see something new. Give us your thoughts on that.
Well, I saw it for the first time and I thought, gee whiz, oh, to be young again. Oh, to be young, to run out a race where you've got so much atmosphere and so encouraging for young people to think that they can come to a footy club and have these facilities. Well, mind you, at Torrens we had saunas and we had a few odds and ends there, but I mean, the visitors never got anything like that. But we look at it now and we say, it's wonderful. And I think that the footy club should be very proud of what they've done.
Thevenin Oval. It's obviously been a hot topic over the past couple of years with the Crows going there and the significant bond that you personally and the West Torrens players have with Thevenin Oval. Your thoughts on the Crows moving into Thevenin Oval and how it's going to be utilised going forward?
I'm excited about that too. I'm excited to think that Thevenin Oval was not going to die. It's going to be remembered. I had 32 years there, David, both as a player, a coach, the management committee and then board, and I was part of that decision to amalgamate with Woodville. I never regretted that moment because it's a fact of life that we had to face, both clubs. But what we did is we brought the family back together again, and I think that going to Thevenin Oval now will mean that hopefully that the first original tenants at Thevenin Oval, the West Torrens Footy Club from 1922 to 1990, will be remembered in some fashion. And I know that the Crows seems to be interested in what we have as an idea to be remembered. So, as Lindsay had said, it's part of his life and it's part of my life and part of so many other people's lives that it will come again to be a great place for people to go and enjoy football.
Walking in here today, John, You've walked past the past players' walls, which were put up in January this year. What does that feel to a past player that hasn't had recognition for the past 30 odd years, where there hasn't been a name on a wall or anything like that? You've walked in and now you see that.
Well, I'm very proud to think that the club has had the initiative to remember all these people that have actually run out the race representing West Torrens and Woodville. They're part of this environment and they're to be respected and remembered. That's important, and this club has done that.
John, thank you very much for sharing your views on the West Torrens inclusion now into the Woodville West Torrens Football Club. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
Well, there is. I think that there's still a part of the journey that's not complete at this stage. I would like all the people that followed West Torrens and followed Woodville to realise the best decision that's been made is to make this club one, and they can come along and enjoy and respect the decision that was made by Bill Sanders and Rex. They were the people that made this place beginning, and I think that come along, share in the joy of seeing this football club play the game in all grades, and I think we can have a lot more success coming forward.
John Graham, thanks very much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you, David, for the opportunity. Thank you.